All right, I'll just do a little intro. So this is our final GIS career talk for the fall 2024 semester. Really excited to have Michaela here to talk with us about her career journey and how she's using GIS in her day-to-day and I guess also in your continuing education. So thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Alex. It's a pleasure. Always excited to talk to fellow warriors and continue to talk about urban studies and GIS. So with that said, my name is Michaela Therrien. I'm an urban planner, program analyst, and project manager. As an urban planner, we often wear multiple hats, and that's the most fun part of the job. I did have I am on LinkedIn if you ever want to connect, my phone number and my email. So always happy to connect with fellow warriors or, Detroiters and continue the conversation on urban revitalization or anything to do with GIS is really fascinating to me. So a little bit about myself. Education, as you can see, I obviously love school, but at some point you got to cut it off. So I started my bachelor's degree at the University of Western Ontario in London. And that's where I did a major in sociology and disability studies. I always wanted to help people. I thought possibly law, social work, policy advocate, those all fascinated me. However, I started an internship after I graduated my undergrad at a small municipality back home, the municipality of Leamington, where I was their economic development assistant. And that's where I really fell in love with local government. I really was exposed to economic development, planning, urban policy, community engagement, and what it meant to really serve the residents and be a public servant. So I decided I need to go back to school and learn about public administration, how to work for administrations on local government levels. And that's where I discovered Wayne State. And looking over the bridge and the border and the water, I am in Canada. So I was completely impressed and just overwhelmed with the revitalization of Detroit, and absolutely fell in love with the city. So I thought, if I'm going to learn it, I'm going to learn it from the best. And that's where I decided to go to Wayne State. So I would commute over the border, live in Canada, and I was taking a few public administration classes, and I was originally planning on doing the economic development certificate that they offer. And I was taking a few of my economic development classes because I did decide to do a concentration in that. And I realized they were urban planning classes. And I thought, this is so incredible. This is where the work is happening. And I got to learn a little bit more about the tremendous urban planning efforts put through the city and the nonprofits and all the amazing organizations that Detroit has to offer. And I said, wow, I want a piece of that. So let's go back to school. Let's continue this effort and do a second master's at Wayne State. Wayne State was home to me. I love the administration at Wayne State. I really loved the professors and the opportunities and the fellow students I had. So I ended up graduating with two master's degrees in 2021. Unfortunately, COVID was, there was a COVID period there, so I wasn't able to commute over the border and see my friends and colleagues at Wayne State. So I had to finish online, but I did get to do an in-person graduation. So with that, I also decided to do a graduate certificate in GIS at Loyola University in Chicago because I also wanted to do the GIS certificate at Wayne State, but was never given, I never had the chance to, especially I started work after I graduated and, the border was still closed. So it was a little hard for me to add another certificate as much as I really wanted to. And I always felt like there was a gap in my knowledge. I needed to really immerse myself in GIS. If I'm going to be a planner, I really need to have a better grasp of GIS and feel more confident in it. I really love being in a class atmosphere. There's a lots of books and tutorials and videos you can learn online, which is really important. I do continuously. But I found that I need to, be with a professor and fellow students and really learn the ins and outs of GIS. So I'm currently in that right now. I'm in my final exam season. I have an intro to GIS class doing my final project tonight, actually, and then a remote sensing class. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. And then next semester, I have an advanced GIS class that I will be wrapping up, and hopefully I'll be done the certificate in the spring. And then my certificates, highly, highly recommend everyone to continue education. It doesn't necessarily need to be at a university, but continue to learn, add some certificates to your portfolio, network, and really see what else is out there. So, for example, I have primer on planning. It's a urban planning certificate for the province of Ontario for planning technicians. So I finished that in 2020. I ended up getting multiple positions throughout my career with the municipality of Leamington, and I was able to grow and work for multiple different departments, whether it was economic development, urban planning, tourism, marketing, and communications. And that was one of the certificates I obtained while at that municipality. And then with the city of Detroit, I got my Lean Six Sigma Green Belt. Highly recommend this for anyone who's really interested in improving operations and processes. Essentially, the goal is to really lean down your process and to make it more efficient and effective. How do we save time, save money, and make our product better? And I'll talk a little bit more about that. So certificates, they're fun. It's a great way to continue your learning. And I believe with GIS and urban planning, we need to it's our duty to continue to learn and grow, and to not stay stuck in our knowledge. We need to continue to be adaptable, stay innovative, and continue to be creative. And that's the fun of it. So, a little bit of my work experience, I've kind of summarized it. Like I said, I am Canadian, so I'm currently on a visa with Detroit as an urban planner, and I started my career at the municipality of Leamington, the most southern point of Canada. A lot of greenhouses, so I got to do a lot of site plan analysis on a lot of commercial and industrial properties. Really, really enjoyed that. I was the planning technician. So, working for a small municipality, I had the great opportunity to really work on a wide range of projects. So, I got to do community engagement, I got to do zoning analysis, heritage, official plan amendments, comprehensive plans, site plan. It was truly amazing. You got to touch a little bit of everything. On my free time, I offer my time to King's University College in London, Ontario, where I'm a board of directors member and a property committee member. I'm on my second year. So that's been really rewarding. Highly recommend volunteering and getting out in the community and providing your knowledge in multiple different ways. It's really fun to be able to use your knowledge and provide it to someone, and to really share experiences and network and meet people and learn what different communities are doing. It is a very exciting time, especially for urban planners. So I highly recommend volunteering. You get to learn a lot of soft skills and hard skills as well. For example, committee of adjustment, property committee, bylaw committees. Municipalities are constantly looking for volunteers. There's heritage committees. Truly, truly recommend getting involved. Yeah, and then I ended up working for the city of Detroit, my dream. I always wanted to work for the city of Detroit. So I've been working there for about 2.5 years. It'll be 3 years in August, and I started as the ARPA Data and Outcomes Manager. So this is where a lot of project management came into play. We have currently ARPA, for anyone who doesn't know, it's the American Rescue Plan Act, and the city of Detroit received $826 million, which is very, very historic, amazing time to be in grants management and research and with the city of Detroit. It's the fifth largest amount of dollars provided by the federal government, the Biden administration. So essentially, with that $826 million, we have created about, on average, 140 projects. And these projects can start from human resources to capital to innovation and technology, anything that's really been negatively affected by COVID. We have essentially created a project to surround that, and we've been able to actually expedite the 10-year City of Detroit plan, and we've seen incredible results with these funding and the positive impact that these funds have had on these projects. And some of the projects that are going to be, that have been very successful and have been proven to make a positive impact on the quality of life for the city of Detroit residents, will hopefully be able to be sustained. We've learned a lot through these funds. So one of my big roles is to really monitor the funding, monitor the data. So I work within the data strategy and analytics department. the Department of Innovation and Technology. And with funds, there's data. So we need to be able to report back to Treasury, the state, other media stakeholders, the mayor, chief financial officer, departments, project teams, and to show what are we using these dollars for? How are we making an impact on the residents in the city of Detroit? So I collect the data, I monitor it, evaluate it, and really work with all 140 project teams on how to move the funds forward and how to implement these dollars. So I also was responsible for leading about 30 to 40 data stewards. So with these dollars, we are really trying to show why collecting data and why reporting out on data is so important. So through that, it's one of my big responsibilities to really teach data literacy, data consistency. Why is data so important? And really showcasing it and visualizing it and to show the impact and to really tell the story on how we're using these dollars. So I've had a couple roles with the city of Detroit throughout the 2.5 years, and it's been incredibly rewarding. And it's really an honor to be able to tell the story of what these great departments and project teams and community stakeholders are doing with these dollars and how we're improving the lives of Detroiters. So like I said, this is Board of Directors Property Committee, very rewarding. Going to emphasize this again, continue to volunteer in your community and to use your skills and continue to learn and grow. This is my Lean Six Sigma project that I had mentioned earlier. So I got my green belts in it, and you can actually grow. So I think there's a black belt option next if I wanted. But the city of Detroit, it's amazing. You have opportunities to really grow and to build these certificates. And Lean Six Sigma can really, really improve any process that you're finding is just not efficient or effective anymore. So essentially, my project was how to collect data from project teams and to really streamline, simplify, and to standardize the process. So how can I make the data stewards more comfortable with data? How can I provide training manuals and error proofing templates? How can we eliminate the amount of meetings we're in and improve the process so we're getting data quicker? And that data is clean and it's effective, and we don't have to go back and, iron it out or go back and have another meeting. So as you can see, the graph is essentially showing that throughout my Lean Six Sigma process, I was able to really improve and get more data from project teams. And with this data, you can build a dashboard, you can do a report, you can go to the, you can build a map, anything. So with GIS, I found that, you really have to collect the data as well. That's a really big, you have to collect the data, and then with GIS, you can actually visualize it. So just some of the resources, because I'm still currently in my GIS learning era, and I think I'm always going to be learning, but with the certificate that I'm currently obtaining and what I'm doing in my current role, just some of the resources that I'm currently using that I hope to really share with others is the City of Detroit Open Data Portal. I found that that's been very useful. AICP, that's the American Institute of Certified Planners. They have a lot of interesting resources, and even if you're not a planner, I find that the articles and the reading materials can be very helpful for, public servants or anyone interested in urban studies. National Historic GIS data. I'm actually doing a final project on this data right now, so that's another good resource if you're looking for some data. QGIS, currently learning this and trying to be a little bit more comfortable with it. Base Units tool for the city of Detroit, also utilizing this, and HUD.gov is a really good resource for some of the data that I'm currently analyzing. These are just some of my fun GIS assignments that I've had the great opportunity to work on in my certificate. Just, learning how to do proper heat maps, learning how to properly do a scale and a north arrow, and how to make sure that my legend isn't cluttered, and how to do proper fonts, and what are the standards to make it visually appealing, not overwhelming, and to something that's a accurate product. And that the reader can truly understand it is something that I'm also learning. And then also being able to, for example, size it or project it properly. That's been a really big learning curve on my end. So like I said, I'm also with my certificate. I'm currently in a remote sensing class. This has been really amazing and a wonderful opportunity. So for anyone who doesn't know what remote sensing is, it's essentially you're just obtaining information about an object from a distance. So we worked with a lot of NASA satellites. And one of my favorite projects, the image on the right, it's essentially georeferencing. So it's a photo that doesn't have map coordinates. And we needed to essentially figure out where this photo was on a map. So you essentially would take the points and line it up with the map base that you were working with and try your best to fit the image on the map. It was a really fun exercise. And essentially you could figure out where the map is, where it's referencing, and be able to add map coordinates to it in the end. So for example, if you have a lot of map imagery from the 40s, and you're like, where in the world is this image actually land on a map? It's a great tool to use that. So that was a really fun exercise, is georeferencing. And I just want to emphasize like the power of data. Um, Originally working in more of a planning technician role, land use planning, I didn't work with data quite as much, but the city of Detroit and Loyola has really allowed me to understand how data is so powerful and how we can use it for grants, storytelling, to really empower others and to really use evidence-based informed decision making. We don't want to be making policy changes for people if we don't know the effects of possibly a law or a policy. We really want to ensure that we are using every dollar appropriately, and we know where that dollar is going. So I just really want to emphasize that the power data is so incredibly important, whether it's compliance or really reporting back to the residents on what is going on. Um, and it's really fun, and we've seen that with GIS. So we can now visualize what we're doing. So just some really really cool products. These are just some of the products that I could show to here today. I can talk about ARPA all day, but I really encourage everyone to go on the ARPA website throughout the city of Detroit. It's essentially, if you just want to type into Google how Detroit's ARPA funds are being spent. These are just some of our ARPA annual recovery plan reports, and these reports go to Treasury every summer. So it's about a 200 to 300 page document. It's quite dense, but it has a really good story of what we're doing with the $826 million that we received. And the website has a lot of really good resources, resident stories, project impact reports, data. And my team with DSNA ARPA, we're currently working on creating a ARPA website. So it's just going to be a website that entails everything ARPA. So all 140 projects, photos, interactive stories, maps. And I wanted to share today, but it's not quite ready. I need to get some approvals on it first. It's still in the pipeline, ironing out phase. Is I'm going to be building a map for all the capital projects. So you'll be able to show where the work has actually been done throughout the city of Detroit. Where is work happening? I won't be having any demographics because we always, really want to stress the importance of PII and person's important information. We want to be we have a lot of data that's sensitive. So we really, if I'm, going to give anyone advice, it's to really make sure that when you're working with delicate information that is sensitive, be sure to hold that tight and to make sure that you have security and that you're not necessarily publishing anything. You're going to aggregate those numbers. You're not giving anyone's personal information out. So that's also a really good, important piece of advice to always keep in mind. So it's going to be a capital map, essentially. So I've been working with my team. The GIS Day workshops that we had last week were very helpful with that regard, making interactive tools and apps, and story maps. Story maps is also a really good tool for you to use to be able to showcase where work is being done. So yeah, that's just a couple of our products that are in the pipeline that I hope to be able to showcase within the next few months. But yeah, these are just some of the annual reports that we've had the honor to work on. Highly recommend taking a read through those. ARPA's constantly adapting and growing. And projects are changing, and the data is very fascinating to show just the impact on the city of Detroit. So yeah, I think in conclusion, I could not be in this position without the help of Wayne State, the help of the 2 degrees that I got at Wayne State, the wonderful professors and colleagues that I had the opportunity to work on, and just having Wayne State in Detroit. It's such an opportunity. There's so much growth and change and incredible work going on around Wayne State. I just highly recommend that you continue your studies and your education, but also immerse yourself in the community as well. I think that that's why I chose to go to Wayne State, especially for urban planning. What a better way, what a better place to learn and to grow when, Detroit is now known as one of the most revitalized cities, and what a comeback that we've made as a community. So I just recommend that continue to go out there and find opportunities. It may not necessarily be your dream job, but just get your foot in the door, learn some skills, continue to network, and to build your portfolio. One thing that I've really learned this year is to make work portfolios, be able to go on Canva, go on StoryMap, maybe make yourself a website, and to really put all your great work forward for an employer, to really show that experience. Um, I think that's all I have for the slideshow. I know we got someone who just hopped on. Happy to answer any questions at all. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was great. Such an amazing career journey that you've you've done so many different things. It's really great to hear and see some of the stuff that you've been able to do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Um, I know I don't know if Vanessa has any questions, but I know one question that I've been asking all of our folks who've joined us for the career talks is what was the one of the most important things from a course that you took into your career or that
For
helped you
sure.
out?
I believe that this was really, I found that this message was really kind of told to us and taught to us in a very positive way throughout all of my public administration classes and urban planning classes. It wasn't just one particular course. I do remember my urban planning theory course. We really, really touched on this, but community engagement,
Mm,
how you really need to take the time to learn from the residents. And for example, if you're a consultant and you're working on a community, you won't necessarily go into that community and just tell them what they need. You really need to take the time to understand the demographics, the culture, the norms, the values. Not every community is the same. What works in one city may not work necessarily well in the other city. So, really taking the time to listen to the people, allow them to have a voice, empowering them, giving them tools that are sustainable for them to be able to utilize in the end. We don't want necessarily plans to just sit on a shelf and collect dust and look pretty. We want those to really be implemented and have an impact. And that message I found was really stuck home with me, and I'll always remember. And that's really what Wayne State taught me. Through yeah, multiple incredible professors really talked to us about that.
nice. That's great.
This was great. I'm sorry I missed most of the
No
presentation. I
worries.
went to the in-person location by accident.
Oh,
But from what I saw, it looks really interesting. I'm glad you like everything you're doing. I'm a data nerd myself, so the nitty-gritty like this seems right up my alley. So thanks
awesome.
for sharing.
No problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, it's interesting how, I think that public administration, there's data everywhere. You can never hide from it. And I never thought I would be working with data when I was in my undergrad. I was taking statistics. I thought, oh my goodness, I never need this, but it's a requirement. No, now it's my whole life. So if I can stress the importance of data to anyone, it is not scary. One of my professors right now has instructed me to just don't be scared, dip your feet in, go in the deep end, and don't panic if you're given new software or, you know, something's unfamiliar. Like, get comfortable with being uncomfortable is also something that I'm really trying to tell myself as well.
Mm, that's a good one. Yeah, I definitely hated math and statistics and did not do well in those courses until I started making maps.
Right? Yes,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Perfect.
Well, yeah, I don't think I have any other questions. Again, thank you so much for sharing your career journey and your continuing education. We're really thankful to have you join us, and hopefully it's a helpful and a benefit to our students as well.
For sure. Yeah. Thank you so much. Let me know if I need to answer any questions. And like I said, always happy to connect over LinkedIn for anyone. So thank you guys so much.
Great.
Perfect. Have a wonderful holiday.